Tell us a little bit about yourself, some of your background and interest, and why you decided to volunteer with us.
When I became a mom 2 years ago, I um, was no longer volunteering for the Warm Line, but when I started to have some more capacity to do other things, I wanted to volunteer and help parents who were experiencing these challenges because I found the first year of my son's life to be extremely challenging. I felt there was like a lack of support. From society in general around being a parent. I chose to stay home with my son and not return to work until he starts preschool.
Mhm.
And that decision was really um, challenging and also kind of isolating because I felt like I didn't have my usual support network around my work community, and now I had to find this whole new parenting community.
Yeah.
um, and so as I sort of got my legs around that, I realized I wanted to help other people get connected to resources.
I joined family paths and was drawn to family paths because of the parenting aspect of the parent stress support line, but then also I wanted to see if providing emotional support for folks at this stage in my life was something I was like ready for and had space for and was energizing, I think is the word I'm looking for.
I had a caller who was, I talked to him every week for 3 or 4 months, and he was really trying to reconnect with his daughter, who was his wife or his ex-wife had full custody of. And he clearly cared a lot and was trying to put in the work to regain some partial custody. And in the time that I was talking to him, he was able to meet like court requirements for getting therapy, so he found a therapist. He started therapy for himself, and he started therapy with his daughter. And um, eventually we stopped talking because he felt like he was kind of back on the right path. But it was like nice to be able to support him kind of on a weekly basis through
Yeah.
that process, and to see him making progress towards his goals of being like more reunited with his daughter.
It's been a while, but one call that I remember in particular was parent calling in for their kiddo who was acting out pretty intensely. And so they were dealing with that stress. They were dealing with their own childhood trauma. They were um, dealing with pressures from their parents
Oh,
to um, parent their kid differently in order to sort of like deal with the situation. And they were under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Financial stressors came up, and uh, it was nice to be able to just sit with the caller in that and reflect back to them what they were going through. I think it's easy, or I don't know, I find myself in places of stress where you're not really you're carrying a ton and you're not actually mentally aware of sort of the
Yeah.
weight that you're dealing with. And so yeah, just to be with a caller in that I think was helpful for them. um, and yeah, I think that was like a pretty typical representation of an emotional support call too, which is why I bring it up.
This person was a young parent early on and had experienced a lot of trauma in their life, and they have seemed like they had been dealt a really tough hand in life, a very difficult start to their life, and only relatively recently has this person really been able to pull it together and um, move on from the substance abuse issues. And seeing their progression with their mental well-being from when we first started talking to where they are now, it's been started here when they called the helpline last year to here. But there's been a lot of bumps, and
Yeah.
every week we talk, I go into it just being like, okay, I'm not going to expect them to be on top of the world. If they are down, they're down. And it's been amazing to see this person just get so much more confident in themselves, to be able to really let go of a lot of past trauma, to really start to see how they need to invest in themselves, and all the while just still talking about the pain and the trauma that they've been through, and but still holding herself accountable, and also being honest with herself at the same time, where she's having a really rough week or a rough month, which has certainly happened in the last year. She talks about it. And but through all that, this person has been really open to just the back and forth, and it's not even, I'm not giving advice, I'm not giving, she's not really asking for help. This person is just, we're just checking in, we're just having a conversation. They're talking about their life and what's going on with them and where they're at with their family and their own future, their past, their mental well-being. And it's just a conversation between us, and I think that's been the most amazing thing, the most rewarding thing, was seeing how far this person has come, and to just know, like, surface level. I mean, I know a handful of things, but I don't know the vast majority of what this person has been through. But to see where they are now,
Yeah.
and to see like where their kids are also and how they've succeeded in life is remarkable. So it
Yeah.
really shows a lot of how far a person can come when they've started from so far at the bottom and have had such a rough start early in life.
Yeah.